Astrology is a group of systems, traditions, and beliefs in which knowledge of the relative positions of celestial bodies and related details is held to be useful in understanding, interpreting, and organizing information about personality, human affairs, and other terrestrial matters. The Zeitgeist movie attempts to falsely portray astrological events to Christianity, and in so doing, put together a set of lies, which will also now be exposed. The movie states that Sirius is a star of the east, and it aligns with Orion's belt and points to the sunrise on December 25th, and that the 3 stars in Orion's belt symbolize the 3 wise men or kings at Jesus' birth. The truth of the matter is that it is not common for Sirius to be aligned with Orion's belt, and there is no relation to it aligning on the 25th of December, much less to follow, as the movie stated, the sunrise. The stars, including our star, the sun, have fixed points in the universe, and it is the cycle of our spinning Earth that shifts the alignment of stars in our skies. In our sky, the most changing position of any celestial object is our sun and moon. This is why astrological symbols were never associated to following the star or moon. In addition, Sirius is seen in the sky all year round, so he would not have caught the special attention of the wise men to follow it. Lastly, as mentioned in the first part of this video, there is no biblical recording of 3 kings, nor is there any biblical recording of those kings arriving on the day of Christ's birth, but were believed to have started their journey upon that day. That is why when Herod discovered the news from the wise men, he killed all the children of Bethlehem from the age of 2 and under, as it would have taken them around that long to get to Jesus. Also, as stated earlier, just because the words sun and sun sound the same in English does not justify any relation. Virgo, astrologically, does represent a virgin holding a sheaf of wheat, but, following the line of the movie, Virgo has no relation to December, much less December 25th, but rather represents August 23rd to September 22nd, and was never described as the house of bread. As for the parallel to Bethlehem, this name could represent house of bread and also represents house of meat. The movie's use of this astrological virgin as Virgo holding a sheaf of wheat has no relation to the Virgin Mary. Finally, the sun reaches its lowest point during the winter solstice, which is between December 20th to December 23rd. The sun never stops moving, especially not for 3 days, as the movie tried to state, because the sun does not move, but rather our Earth moves around it, and the Earth does not stop, particularly not under the Southern Crux constellation. In addition, the death of the sun, thus described in the movie, was not near the time of the death of Christ, which was around spring. Another astrological parallel attempt was about the cross that Christ was crucified on. Cutting a part of the zodiac does not justify any relation with the cross. The cross, with tradition, became a Christian symbol hundreds of years after Christ's death, and the shape and design of it came from Roman history, as it was a Roman form of execution. And it is even more absurd relating the crown of thorns as sun rays in the zodiac symbol. The movie Zeitgeist also tried to relate astrological ages to the Bible. However, it failed to mention that the concept of ages started as late as 127 BC by a man named Hipparchus. So the Bible could not have derived its stories from the concept of ages, because the Bible began its records before that, as confirmed by the Dead Sea Scrolls. To understand the astrological concept of ages, we must first understand the concept of great years. In astrology, each great year consists roughly of about 25,800 years. There have been 8 great years so far, starting from around 205,900 BC. Now, each great year consists of 12 ages of the zodiac. The previous age was stated to have ended in 500 AD, according to the Heindel-Rosicrucian-based interpretation. The details of this were not mentioned in the movie, because this means that the age would have started 23,500 BC, and this conflicts with the biblical concept that creation started around 4000 BC. This is biblically established with the genealogies in the Bible. Thus, again, the Bible could not have been plagiarized from the astrological concept of ages, because they have totally different views about this. Despite these facts, the movie still vainly tried to find some link between the Bible and the following astrological ages. Taurus, symbolized by a bull, was related to Moses and the people who worshipped a calf, not a bull. Aries is symbolized by a ram. It was stated that Moses is symbolized by a ram, but there is no evidence of support for this in the Bible, thus making null the supposed parallel of this age and Moses. Pisces, represented by a fish, was said to start in 1 AD, according to the Neil-Mann interpretation. However, according to the Heindel-Rosicrucian-based interpretation, it began in AD 498, as that is the year understood as marking the first point of Aries alignment. There were around 40 recorded miracles performed by Christ. The movie used only one of them, and tried to relate it to the age of Pisces. Interesting in that point is that they left out the concept of 5 loaves, which outnumbered the 2 fish. Another bold line in the movie was the attempt to show that Jesus was announcing the start of the new age of Aquarius after he leaves. The movie stated that in Luke 22 verse 10, the disciples were asking where the next Passover will be after he is gone, when in fact it was Jesus who was telling just Peter and John where the current Passover was to be held, as the disciples had no idea that Jesus was going to be betrayed and crucified. Luke 22 verse 8 states, "And he sent Peter and John, saying, Go and make ready for us the Passover that we may eat." And in verse 9, Peter and John ask, "Where wilt thou that we make ready?" And in verse 10, Jesus tells them, "Behold, when ye are entered into the city, there shall meet you a man, bearing a pitcher of water. Follow him into the house whereinto he goeth." Jesus was just telling Peter and John where they would have their Passover, and that they should follow a man carrying a pitcher of water into a house and ask the owner of the house about a room. So Jesus only gave his disciples directions to a house, and that was labeled the announcement of the new age of Aquarius? As just seen here, the Zeitgeist movie stated these lies to try and portray a relation between Christianity and astrological events, and thereby endeavored in vain to nullify the truths of Christianity in relating it to stars in the sky.